Welcome back. I'm Nicholeen Peck. I teach all over the world the principles of self-government relating to parenting, good communication, family relationships. This is part 5 in a 6-part series titled Gentle Parenting That Actually Stops Bad Behaviors. And in this video, we're going to be talking about correcting behaviors. So first, we're going to spend a minute and talk about gentle parenting and self-government, and then some of these bad behaviors. And then we're going to go through the step-by-step process for how to correct a bad behavior in a self-governed way. So what is gentle parenting? Gentle parenting is a type of parenting where you use empathy, understanding, respect, unity, compassion, love, all of these great things that we all want to have in our parenting, right? And we do this to help change the heart of the child. We help the child learn to change their behaviors by bonding with them and having a good attachment with them. That is a great thing. But you also have to have a structure that helps you teach the child cause and effect so that they can learn. So not only does a person need a certain type of tone of love and understanding, but they need a type of structure that will help them learn cause and effect. When a person has a certain type of tone, which is very gentle, loving, calm, understanding, and they've got a structure that teaches them cause and effect, then that is the perfect recipe for them to learn self-government or self-mastery. So what is self-government? Self-government is being able to determine the cause and effect of any given situation and possessing a knowledge of your own behaviors so that you can control them. That means you make a plan for yourself, you follow through with it, and you have no problem correcting yourself all along the way. Wait, correcting yourself? What? That sounds painful. Well, you're right. Correcting yourself is one of the most painful things that a person can ever do, but it doesn't have to be. In fact, it can feel completely safe. Admitting that you've done something wrong, showing humility, and making a change in your life, like just repentance for doing something that you shouldn't have done, can actually feel natural and even healing for a person. This is what we want our children to experience. If our children are going to turn out to be self-governed adults, which are the strongest, most powerful leaders in society, then those children need to learn that it is safe and even healthy to be corrected. This means that we need to set the example for them for good corrections by doing good corrections ourselves. A key principle of self-government is that a person actually chooses for themselves. We don't do anything to them. They make the choices, and then they follow through with the effects of those choices. So what this means is that a person must understand the cause and effect ahead of time. Now, in my previous segment on pre-teaching, I talked about the importance of instructional pre-teaching, telling the child not only the skills that they would need to know, remember those 4 basic skills: following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences and disagreeing appropriately, but also the 5 teaching styles that I am going to use as the parent to correct and teach and prepare a child to succeed with those 4 basic skills, as well as other skills that they might need along the way. So one of those teaching styles that I'm going to train my child on is corrective teaching. How am I going to do an effective corrective teaching? I am going to teach them every step along the way. We are going to role play practice those corrective teachings ahead of time so that my child can actually do a corrective teaching in a role play and say everything word for word just like I would say it. This will empower the child to make good decisions in the future. They will know what's coming so that they will have decreased anxiety. They'll be able to accept their consequences. Remember, one of those 4 basic skills is accepting a consequence. We talked about the importance of accepting a consequence in the segment on skill development. So let's talk about those steps to a good correction and why these steps are going to be so important for us to use. But first, don't forget, remember I talked about this in my last segment, that you can have this book, Parenting a House United, which is my premier parenting book, for free. This is a bestseller. This is the second edition to the book. I mean, we have had this book out since 2009. This book has been all over the planet, every continent. We're happy to send it to you wherever it is for free, except for we are going to need your help with the shipping. So you can pay the shipping, we'll pay for the book, you get the book for free. Click on the link in the description below this video now so that we can send it to you. So what are the steps to correcting a negative behavior? So the steps are you describe what happened. You describe the behavior. So you start by telling a story. This is a great safety thing so that you don't start out by reacting. You've got to stay calm. Remember, no emotionally reacting. Don't take things personally. So what you're going to do is you are going to say, this is what happened just now. That's my cue phrase that I always give myself. It's a timestamp. Just now, I gave you an instruction and you looked at me, but then you rolled your eyes and you said, whatever. And then you went off to do the instruction, which is great that you went to do the instruction. That shows that you did have the intent of being obedient along those lines, but your heart was not calm. You rolled your eyes and you said, whatever. That's not having a calm face or a calm voice. Since you chose not to have a calm voice, then you're not going to be happy when you do the chore if I let you go off and do it. So now I've done a description and a rationale that matters to them. They're not going to be happy if they give themselves an attitude problem before they go do it, right? So step number 3 is what should have happened, right? What you should have done was you should have looked at me and kept a calm face, voice, and body, said okay, or asked to disagree appropriately because I'm always happy to hear you out. Then after that, you go and do the consequence, whatever you earned. Then you check back and drop the subject, which means you don't decide to have a heavy cloud hanging over you just because of cause and effect. But you decide it's okay that I got corrected and that I had to do a simple extra chore of some sort. So I always use extra chores because work is the antidote for a sick character. I didn't make that up. That's from Samuel Smiles, who wrote a book called Character back in the 1800s, and I do believe he is right. In fact, the sicker and sicker the character of our society gets, also, ironically enough, the less and less work we are required to do. I give my children the opportunity to do work because it builds their character, but also because it's something they have to do. It's not something I do to them. They have to follow through with something. Also, it's quick repentance. It gets over and done with. It doesn't follow them around for an entire day. They can do it quickly. It can be a very quick task. In fact, like, I need you to put that paper in the garbage. I mean, it can be that fast. Obviously, it can be, I need you to clean the bathroom as well, whatever you feel like the child needs at that time. So then they go and do the task and they check back to you. After that, you do some practices. You do role play practices of following instructions the right way, doing all the steps. You do at least 3 role play practices because a person needs to have more experience doing things the right way than the wrong way in order to create a habit of doing them the right way. After you spend time doing some role play practice, make sure that you praise. In fact, during a correction, I usually praise my child about 5 times, maybe even more. 3 times for sure for each of the practices that we do. 1 time for saying okay to the original declaration of the consequence that they earned. Probably 1 time for disagreeing appropriately if they chose to disagree appropriately. If they kept calm during the correction, I might praise them for that. And then after they check back from doing their extra chore that they earned, I'm going to praise them for that. So that's like around 6 times. 5 to 6 usually is what I average when I do a correction for my child. So this is a time where we could feel closer together and bonded together because I'm looking for the good. I'm teaching and looking for the good. That's gentle. That's positive parenting. That's a parent who's maintaining their parental authority, but they're also teaching their child the lessons that they need to learn and giving them the opportunity to learn cause and effect so that they don't continue to make the same mistakes in the future. So now what happens if you do a correction and the child does not want to accept the correction? Well, then you might have an optional step of doing another correction for them not accepting a consequence. And still you're going to maintain calmness the whole time. You know what to say, you've got the script, you've prepared ahead of time. But what if they still don't care? What if they don't want to accept the consequence? They don't want to have a conversation with you about that yet? Well, that's when we get to what I call intensive teaching. Intensive teaching is something I do a lot of training on in this book. Parenting a House United teaches how to do intensive teaching, how to get somebody calm if they won't accept a correction, how to help them get ready to be taught. So be sure to click on the link below this video to get your copy of this book for free. You just have to pay the shipping. We will pay for the book cost. So go ahead and click on the link now and we'll get that book out to you. Oh, and don't forget, my next segment tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about creating emotionally strong children. And that's something we definitely need in this world.